Hello, 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 hello. How are we all doing today? Today we are starting the second book of The Witcher. So I'm very excited about that. We'll see how it goes. For some reason, the text is a bit darker, and I am unable to change it because if I change it to white text, then it's a flashbang. If I change it to sepia, it is also a bit of a flashbang. So we have to stay like this. But yes, second book of The Witcher. This is the last book of The Witcher I will be reading, though, on stream because I do like to have a bit more of a variety, especially due to how long each book takes. So, yeah, second book of The Witcher. I'm very excited. What happened previously? Good question. We know they're trying to get out of somewhere and they're going to go through the forest to avoid going into towns because people are after them. I forgot why. Maybe someone else here remembers why, but they're trying to get out. I think it might be something to do with the gin, or maybe this has gone back to the present. I'm not exactly sure, but we will see what happens. Okay, I love Led Zeppelin, but now we need some more relaxing music. Also, I need some advice for anyone doing technical things. I want to be able to put just on my vertical stream on the Red app. I want to have an audio source there that I can't hear, but everyone else can hear it. I'm not quite sure how I do that. What I'm thinking of doing is downloading maybe like an hour loop of lo-fi or calm music, and then having that looping just on the and then making that on the third audio track on OBS, and making the third audio track, only only appear on the Red app. That's what I'm thinking of, but the issue is how to make it so I don't hear it, because then I'll have 2 sets of volume. Oh, hi, good eye. How you doing today, lovely? It's you again. Are you disappointed to see me again? Hi, Sheila. How you doing today, lovely? But yeah, I don't know about where to find a real TP music. I'd have to find something that I like and such. But yeah, I am very excited. Are we ready for The Witcher? Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? 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 Listen, my model should be finished on the ideally March 25th, but it could also be finished sometime. I think it'll be done in April because of revisions and such. So thank you for the consume water and the stretch and the squats. I'll do those just in a second. And a while back, let me see how while back it was. It was ages ago. But I finally it's like almost done. When did I start this commission? Sometime in okay, January the 4th. On January the 4th, I got a little outfit thing, and now the front view is finished, it's just the back view. And I frick with it heavily. The back view is a work in progress, but imagine this outfit vibe to be somewhere between it's more goth than my current one, but also more monster-like. So, are we looking forward to that? The front has a lot more going on than the back. The front is very complex and quite crazy, in which I love. I love over accessorizing. And then the back is quite simple and elegant. And I have to say, the one thing I did add, which might be a bit risque, she has like skeleton hands under her, you know, backside. Because I thought that would look nice. So yeah, she has that. But no one will ever see it since it'll be behind, unless I get like fan art. But yeah, let me do the water and stretch now. Let me do that. My current model, the one that is being made, will not have that, but maybe it'll still have it as an outfit in the future. Who knows? Okay, time to do the squats and then we'll start our reading. Yes, Shada, yes, Shada. Hi, Spirit Love, welcome in. I apologize, I just gotta do 20 squats real quick. One, Three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and we have finished with the squats. Also, I no longer have the comfy chair. It's unfortunate, but we no longer have a chair that I can lean back in and spin in. So, goodbye, comfy chair. I'll have my comfy chair back on the weekend, maybe. But yes, let's begin. The Witcher, the second book. The Bounds of Reason. 1. We won't get out of there, I'm telling you, the pockmarked man said, shaking his head with conviction. It's been an hour and a quarter since he went down. That's the end of him. The townspeople, crammed among the ruins, stared in silence at the black hole, gaping in debris, at the rubble-strewn opening. Hi, Pontus. How you doing today, lovely? Why you always reading? Because it's what I enjoy doing. Do something funny. What do you call a donkey with 3 legs? A wonky. How funny was that? Was that funny enough for you? If it wasn't, then yeah, good luck with that. If you want a comedy streamer, I apologize, but that is not me. I am a definitely more of a calm streamer. Also, hi, boys. Thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate 4 months. Oh my gosh. No way, no way. How you doing today, lovely? We've started the second book of The Witcher. Meow, meow. I'm doing well. Aside from, I'm a bit sleepy, but I'm trying my best to be awake and ready. I spent most of today gardening, if I'm being honest. I had my 2 classes, I did some studying, and then I basically weeded the entire garden aside from my little no-mow area where I can watch all the bugs. And I think I have like this giant green bin filled with weeds, dandelions, daisies, and other things I don't want in the one part of the garden because of how infectious they are. And I want my clover to grow. But I've learned that you can't wear gardening gloves with nails, so I had to do everything without gardening gloves, and then spend quite a while getting the dirt out from under my fake nails. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the reading, Mons. Sit back and relax. The reading will make you not scared. I hope what you saw wasn't too traumatizing. Right, right. A fat man in a yellow jerkin shifted from one foot to the other, cleared his throat, and took off his crumpled beretta. Let's wait a little longer, he said, wiping the sweat from his thinning eyebrows. For what? The spotty-faced man snarled. Have you forgotten, Alderman, that a basilisk is lurking in that there dungeon? No one who goes in there comes out. Haven't enough people perish? Why wait? But we struck a deal. The fat man muttered hesitantly. This just isn't right. We made a deal with a living man, Alderman, said the spotty-faced man companion, a giant in a leather butcher's apron. And now he's dead. Sure as eggs is eggs. It was plain from the start he was heading to his doom, just like the others. Why, he even went in without a looking glass, taking only a sword. You can't kill a basilisk without a looking glass. Everyone knows that. So those killer nails? Yeah, I do. You have a garden? It's not my garden, but I like to take care of it. Thank you for the stretch. Let me do that now. Okay, stretch complete. You've saved yourself a shilling, Alderman, the spotty-faced man added. Well, there's no one to pay for the basilisk, so get off home nice and easy, and we'll take the sorcerer's horse and chattels. Shame to let the goods go to waste. Hey, the butcher said. A nice sturdy mare and saddlebags nicely stuffed. Let's take a peek at what's inside. This isn't right. What are you doing? Quiet, Alderman, and stay out of this. You're in for a fighting. The spotty-faced man warned. Sturdy mare, the butcher repeated. Leave that horse alone, comrade. The butcher turned slowly towards the newcomer, who had appeared from a recess in the wall, and the people gathered around the entrance to the dungeon. The stranger had thick, curly, chestnut hair. He was wearing a dark brown tunic over a padded coat and high riding boots. He was not carrying a weapon. Move away from the horse, he repeated, smiling venomously. What is this? Another man's horse, saddlebag, and property? And you can't take your watery little eyes off them. Can't wait to get your scabby mitts on them. Is that fitting behavior? Hi, Mrs. Toxic. Hey, Jane Stay Lovely. You doing well? We are reading the second book of The Witcher. I hope you enjoy. The spotty-faced man, slowly sliding a hand under his coat, glanced at the butcher. The butcher nodded and beckoned towards a part of the crowd, from which stepped two stocky men with close-cropped hair. They were holding clubs of the kind used to stun animals in a slaughterhouse. Who are you? The spotty-faced man asked, still holding his hand inside his coat. To tell us what is right and what is not. That is not your concern, comrade. You carry no weapon. 'Tis true. The stranger smiled even more venomously. I do not. That's too bad. The spotty-faced man removed his hand, and with it, a long knife from inside his coat. It is very unfortunate that you do not. The butcher also drew a knife as long as the cutlass. The other two men stepped forward, raising their clubs. I have no need, the stranger said, remaining where he stood. My weapons follow me. Oh, you're the ex-Megami! Welcome in. Welcome in, lovely. I haven't seen you for a while. Sorry, it doesn't tell me when names change, so I didn't recognize you, lovely. Glad to hear you're doing good. I'm doing well as well. I did lots of gardening today, so got some stuff done I needed to get done. I still have a lot of washing to do. And then I need to hoover, and then I need to mop and all that stuff, but that's for tomorrow. Glad to hear you're doing good. I hope you enjoy the reading. Two young women came out from behind the ruins, treading with soft, sure steps. The crowd immediately parted, then stepped back and thinned out. The two women grinned, flashing their teeth and narrowing their eyes, from whose corners broad, tattooed stripes ran towards their ears. The muscles of their powerful thighs were visible beneath lynx skins wrapped around their hips, and on their sinuous arms, naked above their mail gloves, saber hilts stuck up behind their shoulders, which were also protected by chainmail. Slowly, very slowly, the spotty-faced man bent his knees and dropped his knife on the ground. A rattle of stones and a scraping sound echoed from the hole in the rubble, and then two hands clinging to the jagged edge of the wall emerged from the darkness. After the hands then appeared, in turn, a head of white hair streaked with brick dust, a pale face, and a sword held projecting above the shoulders. The crowd murmured. The white-haired man reached down to haul a grotesque shape from the hole, a bizarre bulk smeared in blood-soaked dust. Holding the creature by its long reptilian tail, he threw it without a word at the fat alderman's feet. He sprang back, tripping against a collapsed fragment of wall, and looked at the carved bird-like beak, webbed wings, and the hooked talons on the scaly feet, at the swollen dewlap once crimson, now a dirty rosette, at the glazed, sunken eyes. There's your basilisk, the white-haired man said, brushing the dust from his trousers. As agreed, now my 200 linters, if you please. Honest linters, not too clipped. I'll check them, you can count on it. Hi, Ruby. Hello, lovely. How are you doing today? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Second book of The Witcher today. The elder man drew out a pouch with trembling hands. The white-haired man looked around, and then fixed his gaze for a moment on the spotty-faced man and the knife lying by his foot. He looked at the man in the dark brown tunic and at the young woman in the lynx-skins. Thank you for the water. Let me drink something real quick. Okay, water consumed. Glad to hear you're right, baby. Yes, yes, the second book, and then after this, I will be reading a different book because I don't know, I don't want to read a full series on stream. Like, I don't want to commit to such a long thing. I think it's nice to do little things in between them. As usual, he said, taking the pouch from the alderman's trembling hands. I risk my neck for you. I risk my neck for you, for a paltry sum. And in the meantime, you go after my things. You never change, a pox on the lot of you. Haven't been touched, the butcher muttered, moving back. The men with the clubs had melted into the crowd long before. Your things haven't been touched, sir. That pleases me greatly. The white-haired man smiled. At the sight of the smile burgeoning on his pale face, like a wound bursting, the small crowd began to quickly disperse. And for that reason, friend, you shall also remain untouched. Go in peace, but make haste. The spotty-faced man was also retreating. The spots on his white face were unpleasantly conspicuous. Hey, stop there. The man in the dark brown tunic said to him, You've forgotten something. What is that, sir? You drew a knife on me. The taller of the women suddenly swayed, legs planted widely apart, and twisted her hips. Her saber, which no one saw her draw, hissed sharply through the air. The spotty-faced man's head flew upwards in an arc and fell to the gaping opening to the dungeon. His body toppled stiffly and heavily, like a tree being felled among the crushed bricks. The crowd let out a scream. The second woman, hand on her sword hilt, whirled around nimbly, protecting her partner's back. Needlessly, the crowd, stumbling and falling over on the rubble, fled toward the town as fast as they could. The elder man leapt at the front with impressive strides, outdistancing the huge butcher by only a few yards. An excellent stroke, the white-haired man commented coldly, shielding his eyes from the sun with a black-gloved hand. An excellent stroke from a Zerikanian saber. I bow before the skill and the beauty of the three warriors. I'm Geralt of Rivia. And I, the stranger in the dark brown tunic, pointed at the fading coat of arms on the front of his garment, depicting three blackbirds sitting in a row in the center of a uniformly gold field. I'm Botch, also known as three jackdaws, and these are my girls, Tia and Via. That's what I call them because you'll twist your tongue on their right names. They are both, as you correctly summarized, Zerikanian. Thanks to them, it appears I still have my horse and belongings. I thank you, warriors. My thanks to you, sir. Three jackdaw, and you can drop the sir. Does anything detain you in this little town, Gerald of Rivia? Quite the opposite. Excellent. I have a proposal. Not far from here, at the crossroads on the road to the river pot, is an inn. It's called the Pensive Dragon. The victuals there have no equal in these parts. I'm heading there with food and lodging in mind. It would be my honor should you choose to keep me company. Borch, The white-haired man turned around from his sauce and looked into the stranger's bright eyes. I wouldn't want anything left unclear between us. I'm a witcher. I guess there's much, but you said it as you might have said I'm a leper. There are those. Gerald Kentucky said slowly. Excuse me. Gerald said slowly. Who prefer the company of lepers to that of a witcher. That are also those. Three jackdaws laughed. Who prefer sheep to girls. Ah, well, one can only sympathize with the former and the latter. I repeat my proposal. Gerald took up his glove and shook the hand being proffered. I accept. Glad to make your acquaintance. Then let us go, for I hunger. And that is the end of that section. What do we think about this so far? I'm interested. We've got a new character and new character. Blah, blah, blah. What's up from Switzerland? Hallo, grüezi miteinander. Wie gut? I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right, Albana. How are you doing, lovely? We are reading The Witcher. If you have heard of the book series, I hope you enjoy. Meow, meow. The innkeeper wiped the rough tabletop with a cloth, bowed and smiled. Two of his front teeth were missing. Right then. Three jackdaws looked up for a while, at the blackened ceiling, and the spiders dancing about beneath it. First the beer, to save your legs, an entire cake, and to go with the beer... what do you propose with the beer, comrade? Cheese, risked the innkeeper. No, Bart grimaced. We'll have cheese for dessert. We want something sour and spicy with the beer. At your service, the innkeeper smiled even more broadly. His two front teeth were not the only ones he lacked. Elvers with garlic and olive oil and green peppers and vinegar, all marinated. Very well, we'll take both. And then that soup I once ate here with diverse mollusks, little fish, and other tasty morsels floating in it. Log diver soup? The very same. And then roast lamb with onions, and then 3 score crayfish. Throw as much dill into the pot as you can. After that, sheep's cheese and lettuce. And then we'll see. At your service. Is that for everyone? Is that for everyone? I mean 4 times? The taller Zerrikanian shook her head, patted herself knowingly on her waist, which was now hugged by a tight linen blouse. I forgot. 3 jackdaws winked at Gerald. The yells are watching their figures. Lamb just for the 2 of us, innkeeper. Serve the beer right now with those elves. No, wait a while so they don't go cold. We didn't come here to stuff ourselves, but simply to spend some time in conversation. Very good. The innkeeper bowed once more. Prudence is a matter of import in your profession. Give me your hand, comrade. Gold coins jingled. The innkeeper opened his gap-toothed mouth to the limit. This is not an bounce, 3 jackdaws announced. It is a bonus. And now hurry up to the kitchen, good fellow. It was warm in the snug. Gerald unbuckled his belt, took off his tunic, and rolled up his shirt sleeves. I see, he said. But you aren't troubled by a shortage of funds. Do you live on the privileges of a knightly estate? Partially. The 3 jackdaws smiled, without offering further details. They dealt quickly with the elves, and a quarter of the keg. And neither of the 2 Zerrikanians stinted on the beer, and soon were both in visible good humor. They were whispering something to each other. Via, the taller one, suddenly burst out in throaty laughter. Are the warriors versed in common speech? Asked Gerald quietly, sneaking a sideways glance at both of them.
Poorly, and they not garrulous, for which they deserve credit. How do you find the soup, Gerald?
Hmm.
Let us drink.
Mm-hmm.
Gerald.
Three jackdaws began, putting aside his spoon and hiccoughing in a dignified manner.
I wish to return for a moment to the conversation we had on the road. I understand that you, a witcher, wander from one end of the world to another, and should you come across a witcher along the way, you kill it, and you earn money doing that. Does that describe the witcher's trade?
More or less.
And does it ever happen that someone specifically summons you somewhere? On a special commission, let's say? Then what, you go and carry it out?
That depends on who asks me and why.
And for how much?
That too, the witcher shrugged. Prices are going up, and one has to live, as a sorcerer's acquaintance of mine used to say.
Quite a selective approach. Very practical, I'd say. But at the root there lies some idea, Gerald. The conflict between the forces of order and the forces of chaos. As a sorcerer acquaintance of mine used to say, I imagine that you carry out your mission, defending people from evil, always and everywhere, without distinction. You stand on a clearly defined side of the palisade.
The forces of order, the forces of chaos. Awfully high-flown words, Bodge. You desperately want to position me on one side of the palisade in a conflict, which is generally thought to be perennial. Began long before us and will endure long after we've gone. On which side does the furrier shoeing horses stand? Or our innkeeper, hurrying here with a cauldron of lamb? What, in your opinion, defines the border between chaos and order?
Murmur. Hi, Charlotte. How you doing today, lovely? Hello.
We have read the second book of The Witcher now. Progress, progress.
Murmur. A very simple thing,
said three jackdaws and looked him straight in the eye.
That which represents chaos is menace, is the aggressive side, while order is the side being threatened, in need of protection, in need of a defender. But let us drink, and make a start on the lamb.
Rightly said. The Zericanians, watching their figures, were taking a break from eating, time they spent drinking more quickly. Via, leaning over on her companion's shoulder, whispered something again, brushing the tabletop with her plate. Tia, the shorter of the two, laughed loudly, cheerfully narrowing her tattooed eyelids.
Yes,
Bodge said, picking a bone clean.
Let us continue our talk, if you will. I understand you aren't keen on being placed on either side. You do your job.
That is correct.
But you cannot escape the conflict between chaos and order. Although it was your comparison, you are not a failure. I've seen you work. You go down into a dungeon among some ruins and come out with a slaughtered basilisk. There is, comrade, a difference between showing horses and killing basilisks. You said that if the payment is fair, you'll hurry to the end of the world and dispatch the monster you're asked to. Let's say a fierce dragon is wreaking havoc on a...
Bad example. Gerald interrupted. You see, right away, you've mixed up chaos and order. Because I do not kill dragons, and they, without doubt, represent chaos.
How so?
Three jackdaws licked his fingers.
Well, I never. After all, among all the monsters, dragons are probably the most bestial. The cruelest and fiercest, the most revolting of reptiles. They attack people, breathe fire, and carry off, you know. There's no shortage of tales like that. It can't be that you, a witcher, don't have a few dragons on the trophy list.
I don't hunt dragons, Giles said dryly. I hunt folktales for sure, and Draco lizards and flying drakes.
but not true dragons, the green, the black, or the red. Take note, please.
Meow, meow. Oh, Charlotte says, I got a fever. Oh no, you got a fever. I hope you get better soon, lovely. And if you don't feel well enough to go to the party, know that you don't have to, and it's more important to take care of yourself. All right? And best of luck on your test. I hope you can enjoy the reading today. Meow, meow.
You astonish me, Three Jackdaw said. Very well, I've taken note. In any case, that's enough about dragons for the moment. I see something red on the horizon, and it is surely a crayfish. Let us drink.
Their teeth crunched through the red shells, and they sucked out the white flesh. The salt water, stinging painfully, trickled down over their wrists. Borch poured the beer, by now scraping the ladle across the bottom of the keg. The Zaricanians were even more cheerful, the two of them looking around the inn and smiling ominously. The Witcher was convinced they were searching for an opportunity for a brawl. Three Jackdaws must have also noticed, because suddenly he shook a crayfish he was holding by the tail at them. The woman giggled, and Tia pouted her lips for a kiss and winked. Combined with her tattooed face, this made for a gruesome sight.
They are as savage as wildcats, Three Jackdaws murmured to Gerald.
Meow, meow. Thanks, Alice. Yep, I must have making the bed. By the way, how are you doing? It's getting sun. I'm doing well, thank you. I am glad it's not getting too hot here, because I was able to be in the garden most of the day. It was really funny. I don't know if you noticed it, but basically, all the time I was in the VC today, I was rewatching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with a friend. We were listening to it on dub, and I was gardening while listening to it. And I've seen part 3. This is the 4th time I'm watching part 3, I think. So I basically know everything that's happening. So I can follow along just with dub, and it's the Naruto Ascension at the moment. Yeah, it's going great. When it gets too hot, I will be moving my PC to the basement, which is what I do in the summer. Because I can't get any work done in my room because the sun's glare is so strong on my window. And also, it's just too hot to work. So, what I like to do, I have the PC and I bring all my work down to the basement. And I have a fan in the basement as well. And the dog also gets too hot. So she comes down to the basement with me and sits on the sofa. And yeah, that's what we do. Oh, you're watching Frieren. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. I'm surprised you can focus on watching an anime while listening to reading. The multitasking is strong. Okay, give me 1 second. There we go. I just realized that my um okay, wait, I should change that. Oh no. Um my it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Sorry, I'll continue now. Meow, meow.
They need watching. With them, comrade, suddenly, before you know it, the floor's covered in guts. But they're worth every penny, if you know what they're capable of.
I know. Gerald nodded.
You couldn't find a better escort. Zarikanians, the born warriors, trained to fight from childhood.
I didn't mean that. Botch spat a crayfish claw onto the table. Gerald glanced anxiously at the woman. They both smiled. Via reached for the dish with a swift, almost imperceptible movement. Looking at the Witcher through narrowed eyes, she bit open a shell with a crack. Her lips glistened with salt water. Three Jackdaws belched loudly.
And so, Gerald, he said. You don't hunt dragons, neither green nor any other color. I've made notes of it. And why, may I ask, only those three colors? Four, to be precise. You mentioned three. Dragons interest you, Porch. For any particular reason? No, pure curiosity.
Meh, meh. Oh, I mean, I watched it after the morning study sessions. Oh, sorry. On your previous message, you said right RN, which I assumed you meant right now. So I'm a bit confused. Your nose is killing me. Okay, I don't know if you have them where you are, but here we have these nose sprays. They're this medicine that you put up your nose, you spray it, and then you like tilt your head back so it goes down your throat, and that helps a bit. Okay, guys. Best of luck on your best of luck on your exam tomorrow morning. You got this. You can study while listening. Good luck. Also, welcome in. We are reading the second book of The Witcher today, and I hope you enjoy. Meow, meow.
Uh-huh. Well, about these colors, it's customary to define true dragons like that, although they are not precise terms. Green dragons, the most common, are actually grayish, like ordinary Draco lizards. Red dragons are in fact reddish or brick red. It's customary to call the large dark brown ones black. White dragons are the rarest. I've never seen one. They occur in the distant north, reputedly. Interesting, and do you know what other dragons I've heard about? I do. Gerald sipped his beer. The same ones I've heard about. Golden dragons. There are no such creatures. On what grounds do you claim that? Because you've never seen one. Apparently you haven't seen a white one either. That's not the point. Beyond the seas in Ophir and Zangvibal, there are white horses with the black stripes. I haven't seen them, but I know they exist. But golden dragons are mythical creatures, fabled, like the phoenix, let's say. There are no phoenixes or golden dragons. Via, leaning on her elbows, looked at him curiously. You must know what you're talking about, you're a witcher. Borch laid out beer from the care. But I think that every myth, every fable, must have some roots. Something lies among those roots. It does, Gerald confirmed. Most often a dream, a wish, a desire, a yearning. Faith that there are no limits to possibility, and occasionally chance. Precisely chance. Perhaps there once was a golden dragon, an accidental, unique mutation. If there were, it met the fate of all mutants. The Witcher turned his head away. It differed too much to endure.
Meow, meow. Bye-bye, Charlotte. Good night. Sleep well. And good luck on your work tomorrow. Meow, meow.
Three Jackdaw said. Now you are denying the laws of nature, Gerald. My sorcerer acquaintance was wont to say that every being has its own continuation in nature, and survives in some way or another. The end of one is the beginning of another. There are no limits to possibility, or at least nature doesn't know any. Your sorcerer acquaintance was a great optimist, but he failed to take one thing into consideration: a mistake committed by nature, or by those who trifle with it. Golden dragons and other similar mutants, were they to exist or couldn't survive? For a very natural limit of possibilities prevents it. And what is that? Mutants.
The muscles in Gerald's jaw twitched violently.
Mutants are sterile, Borch. Only in fables survives which cannot survive in nature. Only myths and fables do not know the limits of possibility.
Three Jackdaws said nothing. Joe suddenly looked at the Zererkans, at their faces grown serious. Via unexpectedly leant towards him and put a hard, muscular arm around his neck.
They like you.
Three jackdaws said slowly.
Well, I'll be damned if they like you.
What's so strange about that? The Witcher smiled sadly.
Nothing, but we must drink to it. Innkeeper, another keg.
Take it easy. A pitcher at most.
2 pitchers.
Three jackdaws yelled.
Dear, I have to go out for a while.
The Zerrikanian stood up and took her saber from the bench and swept the room with a wistful gaze. Although previously, as the Witcher had observed, several pairs of eyes had lit up greedily at the sight of Borcha's bulging pass, no one seemed in a hurry to go after him as he staggered slightly towards the door to the courtyard. Tia shrugged, following her employer.
What is your real name?
Gerald asked the one who had remained at the table. Via flashed her white teeth. Her blouse was very loosely laced, almost to the limits of possibility. The Witcher had no doubt it was intentionally provocative. I can't think of a voice to do for her. Alvi... How on earth did I pronounce this? Alvea... Alvea... Alvea Veneral. Alea Veneral. Okay, what voice should I give her?
Alea Veneral. Pretty.
The Witcher was sure the Zerrikanian would pass her lips and wink at him. He was not mistaken.
Via?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you ride with Borch? You 3 warriors. Would you mind telling me? What?
He is. The Zerrikanian frowning, searching for words. He is the most beautiful. The Witcher nodded. Not for the first time, the criteria by which the women judged the attractiveness of men remained a mystery to him. The three jackdaws lurched back into the snug, fastening his trousers and issued loud instructions to the innkeeper. Tia, walking 2 steps behind him, feigning boredom, looked around the inn, and the merchants hurried to go after him as he staggered slightly towards the door to the courtyard. Tia, wrong thing. I went backwards instead of forward. And the merchants and the log drivers carefully avoided her gaze. Via was sucking the contents from another crayfish and continually throwing the Witcher meaningful glances.
I've ordered us an eel each, baked this time.
3 jackdaws strapped down heavily, his unfastened belt clinking.
I struggled with those crayfish and I seem to have worked up an appetite. And I've organized a bit for you, Gerald. There's no sense in you roaming around tonight. We can still amuse ourselves. Here's to you, girls.
That's okay, Via said, saluting him with her beaker. Tia winked and stretched, and her bosom, contrary to Gerald's expectations, did not split the front of her blouse.
Let's make merry.
3 jackdaws leant across the table and slapped Tia.
Let's make the merry, Witcher. Hey, landlord, over here.
The innkeeper scuttled briskly over, wiping his hands on his apron.
Can you lay your hands on the top, the kind you launder clothes and sturdy and large?
How large, sir?
For 4 people.
For 4? The innkeeper opened his mouth.
For 4.
3 jackdaws confirmed, drawing a full purse from his pocket.
I could.
The innkeeper licked his lips.
Splendid.
Borch laughed.
Have it carried upstairs to my room and filled with hot water. With all speed, comrade, and have beer brought there too, 3 pitchers. The Zarikanians giggled and winked at the same time. Which one do you prefer? Three jackdaws asked. Me, Gerald? The Witcher scratched the back of his head. I know it's difficult to choose, said the jackdaws, understandingly. I occasionally have difficulty myself. Never mind, we'll give it some thought in the tub. Hey girls, help me up the stairs. And that is the end of that section. Um, it does sadden me the way this book has definitely set fire in the past. You can see this by the way women are treated, and it's very sad. And I also find it saddening to see Gerald engaging. Very sad. But then again, we don't know what point of time this is, if he has met Yennefer or not met Yennefer. I do hope he hasn't met Yennefer in this particular bit. Otherwise, me and Gerald are going to have some. Me and Gerald will have a little talk, to say the least. I am not happy with his behavior. And so, hold on, let me do something real quick. Can I not flip this? Oh, that's annoying. I can't transform a media source since it's animated. Oh, shoot. Properties, like, oh no. Oh no. It's okay. Also, give me 1 second to check something. We'll be continuing the next part in a bit. Are you enjoying the reading so far? What do we think about it? I just want to change something. Hi, Overhand and Toast. How you doing today, lovely? We're just having a little pause quickly since I do want to change my little message for my Zaripod thing. Because I do want to change it to 3 minute instead of I'll say I want to change it to a 3 May advert may be starting. So um also I don't think also does YouTube wait, hold on, does YouTube live stream have ads? Let me search this up. Does YouTube live have ads? Oh no, it does have ads. Can you stream on YouTube with no ads? Let me search this up. I guess I just have to make it, yeah. I'm just changing my timer message because I have noticed that sometimes because I tr- I've done so many things to make it so my stream has like basically no ads or pre-rolls and pre-rolls. Okay, does that work? There we go. I've changed it to May. Or should I remove the? There we go. Hopefully it's alright. Let me go through my ad settings real quick. Okay. How do I check this? Not content, moderation, stream analytics? No. I mean content. No, monetization, there it is. Ads. Okay. I have my ads on 3 minutes per hour, which is the one that allows you to have no pre-rolls. And then I have my manual to be at the
run a 3-minute ad break every 60 minutes instead of a 30-second one every very quickly. And then I have on my thing, I have fast ad delay. So I've enabled the sneaky setting where for the first 30 minutes of my stream, I have no ads. So I have my first ad delay for 30 minutes. I'm not supposed to do that. I don't think many people do that, but like for the first half an hour I stream, there are no ads at all. And then I have ad-free viewing on my sub thing. And then I have auto snooze ad. I have auto snooze ads on during high engagement moments. So I literally have like, and my pre-roll ads for incoming viewers are fully disabled. So no one gets a ad when they click on my stream. Do I make anything from ads? Let me check. Probably not since I have everything so disabled. Should we see? Should we see? I don't even know how to check it. Analytics, maybe? Um, don't worry, guys. I've made one US dollar from ads throughout the. I've made $1 through ads for the past like. How do I month? How do I check this? I don't know, but I think in my entire streaming time, I've made $1 from ads because of how little I have them on. Because I hate pre-rolls. If I'm on a stream, okay, I don't know how to explain this, but if I open a stream and I get an ad, I will be immediately closing it. Like if I open a stream and I get hit with a 30-second ad, I will be closing it unless I'm like a friend of the person. I don't know. I hate it. Thank you for the consume model. Let me do that now. I'm sorry I didn't see that, lovely. Oh, I've been yapping too much. Time to go back to reading, eh? Maybe I could I need to change one more thing. Do. I want to make it a bit shorter. Hi, Graham. How you doing today, lovely? Welcome in, welcome in. I'm trying to make my ad message a bit shorter. 3-minute ad break may start. How's this stream on kick with Ernest? Okay. Everything's been alright. I think so. I'm alive. There we go. That looks better in format. Because it's shorter and more to the point. Anyway, sorry for all the delay. I will I will get back to work. How are you doing, Grin? You doing well? Did I ask that already? Maybe. Am I going insane? Probably. Technical difficulties? Oh, what's up? Meow. 3. There was a barrier on the bridge. The way was barred by a long, solid beam set on wooden trestles. In front and behind it stood halberdiers in studded leather coats and mail hoods. A purple banner bearing the emblem of a silver griffon fluttered lazily above the barrier. What the devil? 3 jackdaws said in surprise, approaching at a walk. Is there no way around? Got a safe conduct? The nearest halberdier asked without taking the stick he was chewing, either from hunger or to kill time from his mouth.
Self-conduct, what is it, the plague or a war perhaps? On whose orders do you obstruct the way? Those of King Nightmare, Lord of Kyrington, the guard replied, shifting the stick to the other side of his mouth and pointing at the banner. Without the safe conduct, you can't go up. Some sort of idiocracy, Gerald said, in a tired voice. This isn't Cairngorm, but Bearfield's territory. Bearfield, not Cairngorm. Levies tolls from the bridges on the Bra. What has Nightmare to do with it? Don't ask me, the guard said, spitting out his stick. Not my business. I'm here to check safe conducts. If you want, talk to our Decurion. And where might he be? He's basking in the sun over there, behind the toll collector's lodgings, the halberdier said, looking not at Gerald, but at the thighs of the Zeriganians who were stretching languidly in their saddles. Behind the toll collector's cottage sat a guard on a pile of draw logs, drawing a woman in the sand with the end of his halberd. It was actually a certain part of a woman, seen from an unusual perspective. Beside him, a slim man with a fanciful plum bonnet pulled down over his eyes, adorned with a silver buckle, and a long twitching heron feather was reclining, gently plucking the strings of a lute. Hi, Cyber. How you doing, lovely? You doing well? Have you gone to more metal concerts recently? Room says, like, oh, Wi-Fi went out earlier. Oh, no. Got a job in engineering, a house, and a family. Wait, you got it? Did you get a job? I'm a bit confused about the sentence. Did you get a job, or is that a quote from a song? Or if you got a job, congratulations. It's always nice when your family is happy. Cyber, there's lovely weather today, right? It was very nice weather today. Good for a squad workout. You know what? Sure. Cyber, can you make refuse to the One Punch Man workout? He needs to have like the biggest ass as possible. You know, that's his goal. You're going to rave. Oh, you're very brave. I hope you have a lovely time. There's literally nothing happening here unless I do stuff. I don't know. Thank you, Cyber. Can you motivate him every day, please? He's got to be on the grind, bro. He's not locked in. He's doing nothing 90% of the time. You know what? I think maybe I need to start the grind. Maybe I need to no, but by me starting the grind, I mean me forcing Refuse to start the grind. Now I'm gonna harass Refuse in DMs and make him do workout. Wait, not no freaky though. Do not worry, I will not ask him to say solace every time he does a push-up. Do not worry. Extra creatine just the thighs. Thighs. Wow, thighs. I love thighs. You're cooked? No, you're not cooked. You're gonna be so happy. You're gonna be so happy. Right? Right? Because, like, okay, I have an idea. I play League of Legends, and then every 5 minutes, I scream at you to do 100 squats. I think that sounds like a good plan. That sounds like a great plan. I'm gonna play, like, a game of League after stream. I'm gonna try and harass around to, um, play play League with me after this. Oh, wait, Grim, was that in my server? Because please let me know if anyone in my server messaged you with DM advertising. I'll ban them immediately. Ram says every day they have to do squats. No, that's what I'm gonna make you do, Ram. That's what I'm gonna make you do. If you can't play League, his PC can't.
I've tried. I've tried. I'm gonna make a run do the workout. Run, are you fit? Wait, my mic, sorry. Run, are you fit? By that I mean athletic. Can you do as many squats as me? I think Aram is I literally don't even play normal league anymore. I just do Air Mayhem. Run says not in the slightest. Okay, new challenge for you. Every time I do squats in stream, you're doing them as well. Okay? Okay, Grim says they went to my server. Okay, perfect. When you get stuff like that, I do recommend just blocking them. Cyber says my legs have gotten started riding for two. What were you riding, Cyber? Cyber, what were you riding? Have you been meeting some men on your concerts? Do I need to TM Epsy about your activities? Oh gosh. Someone tell Epsy, bro. Anyways, back to reading, eh? We can zoom back to our reading. Vibes I know everything. Show my wallpaper and heads on me. I actually really respect that. I used to be someone's wallpaper too. But the issue was that their parents didn't know. Like at the start, their parents didn't know they were in a relationship. And then one day they see their wallpaper. And it's like it's like a pic of me in a black dress with like my thighs out and shit. And then with like thigh high black tights. Yeah, that was a bit awkward. I think they didn't change the wallpaper. They changed the wallpaper, like, if someone just opens the phone without logging in, but I think they kept the actual one. I think this was, like, 2 years ago, and I'm not with them anymore. But yeah, that was funny. Meow, meow. Gerald knew that bonnet and that feather, which were famed from the Buina to the Yaruka, known in manor houses, fortresses, inns, taverns, and houses. Dandelion. Gerald the Witcher! A pair of cheerful cornflower blue eyes shone from under the bonnet, now shoved back on his head. Well, I never! You're here too! You don't have a safe conduct by any chance? What's everyone's problem with this safe conduct? Gerald the Witcher dismounted. What's happening here, Dandelion? We wanted to cross the bra, myself and this knight, Borch 3 jackdaws, and our escort, and we cannot, it appears. Oh, I can't either. Dandelion stood up, took off his bonnet, and bowed to the Zedekanians with exaggerated courtesy. Well, they don't want to let me cross either. This Dracarian here won't let me. Dandelion, the most celebrated minstrel and poet within 1,000 miles. Although he's an artist, as you can see. I won't let anyone cross without a safe contact, the Dracarian said resolutely, at which he completed his drawing with a final detail, producing the no matter, the Witcher said. We'll ride along to the left bank. The road to the Hangfalls is longer that way, but needs must. To Hangfalls? The bard said, surprised. Aren't you following Need Gerald and the dragon? What dragon? 3 jackdaws asked with interest. You don't know. You really don't know. Oh, I shall have to tell you everything, gentlemen. I'm waiting here in any case. Perhaps someone who knows me will come with a safe conduct and let me join them. Please be seated. Just a moment, 3 jackdaws said. The sun is almost a quarter to the noontide, and I have an awful thirst. We cannot talk on an empty stomach. Tia, Via, head back to the town at a trot and buy a keg. I'm so confused it doesn't tell me who's speaking here. I like that. Okay, I think this is Dandelion speaking, and then. Okay, sorry. I like the cut of your jib, sir.
But also known as the Three Jackdaws. Dandelion also knows as the Unparalleled by certain girls. Talk, Dandelion,
The Witcher said impatiently. We aren't going to loiter around here till evening. The bard seized the finger part of his lute and plucked the strings vigorously.
How would you prefer it, in verse or in normal speech?
Normal speech,
As you please.
Dandelion said, not putting his lute down. Also, I do know it's pronounced dandelion. I just hate dandelions, so I'm not saying dandelions. He's being called Dandelion now. And yes, I know I'm probably saying jailed wrong, but it is what it is. You have to suck it up. Oh, gosh.
Listen then, noble gentlemen, to what occurred a week ago near the three town of Bearfield. 'Twas thus, that at the crack of dawn, when the rising sun had barely tinged pink, the shrouds of mist hanging pendant above the meadows.
It was supposed to be a normal speech, Gerald reminded him.
Is it? Oh, very well, very well. I understand. Concise, without metaphors. A dragon aligned on the pastures outside Bearfield.
Oh, come on, the Witcher said. It doesn't seem very likely to me. No one has seen a dragon in these parts for years. Wasn't it just a common old garden Draco lizard? Draco lizard specimens can occasionally be as large as
Don't insult me, Witcher. I know what I'm talking about. I saw it. As any luck would have it, I was at the market in Bearfield and saw it with my own eyes. The ballad's composed, but you didn't want.
Go on. Was it big?
The length of 3 horses. No taller than a horse at the withers, but much fatter. Sand grey.
In other words, green.
Yes. It swooped down unexpectedly, flew right into a flock of sheep, scattered the shepherds, it did for about a dozen beasts, devoured 4 of them, and flew away.
Flew away? Gerald shook his head. And that was all?
No, because it came again the next day, this time nearer to the town, and swooped down on the knot of women, washing their linen on the banks of the Bra. Oh, how they bolted, old friend. I've never laughed so much. And the dragon circled Bearfield a couple of times and flew towards the pastures, where it fell on the sheep again. Only then did the chaos and confusion begin, because few had believed the herdsmen before. The mayor called out the town's constable lady and the guilds, but before they could form up, the plebs took matters into their own hands and did for it.
How?
In a forceful, pleasant manner, the local master cobbler, a certain sheepbacker, came up with a way of dealing with the brutes. They killed a sheep, stuffed it full of hellebore, deadly nightshade, poison parsley, brimstone, and cobbler's tar. Just to be sure, the local apathetically poured in 2 quarts of his concoction for carbuncles, and the priest in the temple of Creve said prayers over the carcass. Then they stood the poisoned sheep above the flock, held up by a stake, if truth be told. No one believed the dragon would be lured by that shit, which stank to high heaven, but the reality suppressed our expectations. Ignoring the living and bleating Balaams, the reptile swallowed the bait and the stake.
And what then? Go on, Dandelion.
What do you think I'm doing? I'm telling you. Listen, what happened next? In less than a skilled man needs to unlace a woman's corset, the dragon suddenly began to roar and vent smoke from its front and rear ends. It turned somersaults, tried to take off, then collapsed and lay still. 2 volunteers set off to check whether the poisoned reptile was still breathing. It was the local gravedigger and the town halfwit, the fruit of the union between the daughter of a woodcutter and a squad of hired pikemen who marched through Bearfield at the time of Warlords and Nemblo's rebellion.
Now you're lying, Dandelion.
Not lying, just embellishing, and there's a difference.
Not much of one. Speak on, we're wasting time.
Well then, as I was saying, the gravedigger and the doty idiot set off as scouts. Afterwards, we built them a small but pleasing burial mound.
Uh-huh. Alright. Good to be on. Oh, Botch said. That means the dragon was at wrong place. Uh-huh. Botch said. That means the dragon was still alive. And how? Dandelion said cheerfully. It was alive. But it was so weak it couldn't devour either the gravedigger or the half-wit. It just lapped up the blood. And then, to general consternation, it flew away, taking flight with some difficulty. Every furlong it fell with a clatter, then rose again. It walked occasionally, dragging its back legs. Some courageous individual followed it, keeping it in view. You know what? Speak, Dandelion. The dragon disappeared among the ravines of the Crystal Mountains, near the source of the Brar and hid in the caves there. Now everything's clear, Gerald said. The dragon had probably lived in those caves for centuries, in a state of torpor. I've heard of cases like that. And his treasure hoard must be there too. Now I know why they're blocking the bridge. Someone wants to get his greedy hands on the treasure, and that someone is Niedermere Caringorn. Exactly, the troubledoer confirmed. Grim says, well, yeah, we're talking about wallpapers. It made me realize that I was getting a little, oh, they sent immediate eyes. Oh, let me send my wallpaper, actually. Mine is from Shadowslave. Let me take a picture of my wallpaper. I'm gonna post my wallpaper in the media channel and check out yours real quick. What is that wallpaper? No. Grim, I do not like your new wallpaper. My wallpaper is just Sunny from Shadowslave. Okay, should we continue reading? Exactly, the troublemaker confirmed. The whole of Bedfield is fit for seething for that reason, because they claim that the dragon and its hoard belongs to them. But they're hesitant to cross Nidomir. Nidomir is a young whelp who hasn't started shaving, but he's already proved it doesn't pay for full foul of him. And he wants that dragon like the very devil, which is why he's reacted so fast. Wants the treasure, you mean? Actually, more the dragon than the treasure. You see, Nidomir has his eye on the kingdom of Melor. A princess of a, so to speak, veritable age was left there after the sudden enough death of the prince. The noblemen of Melior look on Nidomir and the other suitors with reluctance, for they know that the new ruler will keep them on a short leash. Unlike the Callow princess, so they dug up some dusty old prophecy, saying that the Mitra in the lass's hand belonged to the man who vanquishes the dragon. Because no one had seen a dragon there for ages, they thought they were safe. Nidomir, of course, laughed at the legend, took Maelor by force, and that was that. But when the news of the Bearfield dragon got out, he realized he could hoist the Maelor nobility by their own petard. If he showed up, there clutching the dragon's head, people would greet him like a monarch sent by the gods, and the noblemen wouldn't dare breathe a word. Does it surprise you, then, that he rushed off after the dragon like a scalded cat? Particularly since it's dead on its feet. For him, it's a real godsend. A stroke of luck by thunder. And so he shut the competition out. So it would appear. The people of Bearfield accept that he sent riders with safe conduct throughout the countryside. They'd for the ones who were supposed to actually kill the dragon, because Nidomir himself is in no hurry to walk into a cave wielding a sword. In a flash, he drafted in the most renowned dragon slayers. You know, most of them Gerald. Possibly. Who was turned up? Ike of Denzil to begin with. Damn. Whew. The Witcher whistled softly. The pious and virtuous Eke, a knight without flaw and blemish in person. Do you know him, Gerald? Botch, Van Bice. Do you know him, Gerald? Botch asked. Is he really this good? Is he really? Oh my god, the lag. I will, okay, and consider turning down video settings using a faster encoding preset. I have my shit on me. Wait, what do I have it on at the moment? Right now, I have it on I have mine on low quality and fast. Okay, let's continue.
Do you know him, Gerald? Bot asked. Is he really the scourge of dragons? Not just dragons. Like is a match for any monster. He's even killed manticores and griffins. He's dispatched a few dragons, so I've heard. He's good, but he spoils my business, the swine, because he doesn't take any money for it. Who else, Dandelion? The Crinfit Reavers? Well, the dragon's done for, even if it has recovered. The trio are a good team. They fight pretty dirty, but they're effective. They've wiped out all the Draco lizards and folktails in Redania. Not to mention 3 red and 1 black dragon, which they also dispatched. And that's no mean feat. Is that everybody? No. 6 dwarves under the command of Yarpin Zikrin have joined in. I don't know him. Oh, but you have heard of the Dragon Noctvist from the Quartz Mountain? Yes, and I saw some gemstones from its hold. There were sapphires of remarkable color and diamonds as large as cherries. Well, know that, because Yarpin Zikrin and his dwarves did a Noctvist. A ballad was composed about it, but it was lousy because it wasn't one of mine. You'll miss nothing if you haven't heard already. Is that everybody? Yes, not counting you. You claim not to know about the dragon. Who knows? Perhaps that's true. But now you do. Well, nothing. That a dragon doesn't interest me.
Wait. Thank you for the stretch. I appreciate it. Let me stretch real quick. You stretch as well. Also, I will be finishing this section and then playing League. I will be in the Gen 1 of the Discord server. So, don't leave me there alone. So, what time are you going to the Rave server? And is it like I don't know if you can take videos, but if you can, please do. Please. 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 Meow. Very crafty, Gerald. Because you don't have a safe conduct anyway.
The dragon doesn't interest me. I told you, but what about you, Dandelion? What draws you here?
Oh, the usual. The troublemaker is shocked. I need to be near the action and the excitement. Everyone be talking about the fight with the dragon. About the fight with the dragon, of course. I could compose a ballad based on the reports, but it'll sound different sung by someone who saw the fight with his own eyes.
Fight? 3 jackdaws laughed. More like some pigs thinking of a carcass being quartered. I'm listening and I'm astounded. Celebrated warriors rushing here as fast as they can to finish off a half-dead dragon poisoned by a peanut. It makes me want to laugh and vomit. You're wrong, Gerald said. If the dragon hasn't expired from the poison, its constitution has probably already fought it off, and it's back at full strength. It actually doesn't make much difference. The Grinford Reapers will kill it anyway. But it'll put up a fight if you want to know. So you're betting on the Reapers, Gerald? Naturally. Oh, don't be so sure. The autistic guard, who had been silent up until then, spoke up. A dragon is a magical creature, and you can't kill it with any way other than spells. If anyone can deal with it, then it's that sorceress who rode through every way. Rode through yesterday. Who was that? Gerald cocked his head. A sorceress, the guard repeated. I told you. Did she give her name? She did, but I've forgotten it. She has a safe conduct. She was young, comely in her own way. Oh, but those eyes! You know how it is, sire. You come over all cold when they look at you. Know anything about this, Dandelion? Who could it be? I don't know. The bard grimaced. Young, comely, and with those eyes, some help that is. They're all like that. Not one of them I know, and I know plenty. Looks older than 25, 30. Though some of them I've heard can recall the times when the forest soared as far as where Novigrad stands today. Anyway, what are elixirs and mandrake for? And they also sprinkle mandrake in their eyes to make them shine, as women will. Was her hair red?
the Witcher asked. No, sir, the Decurion said. Coal black. And her horse, what colour was it? Chestnut with a white star? No, black like a hair. Well, gentlemen, I'm telling you, she'll kill the dragon. A dragon's a job for a sorcerer. Human strength is enough for it. I wonder what the cobbler's shipbacker would say about that. Dandelion laughed. If he has something stronger to hand than Hellbore and Deadly Nightshade, the dragon's skin would be drying on the Bayfield stockade. The ballad would be ready, and I wouldn't be fading in this sun. Why exactly didn't Nidame take you with him? Jared asked, looking askance at the poet. You were in Bayfield when he set off, after all. Could it be that the king doesn't like artists? How come you're fading here, instead of strumming an air by the royal steps? The cause was a certain young widow, Dandelion said dejectedly. The hell with it. Tardied and the next day Niedermere and the others were already out the river. They even took that sheep back out with them, and some scouts from the Bayfield Constabulary. They just forgot about me. I've explained it to the Victorian, but he keeps repeating. If it's a safe conduct, I'll let you through, the halberdier said dispassionately, relieving himself on the wall of the toll collector's cottage. If there isn't, I don't let you through. I've got me orders. Oh, Sir Jackdaws interrupted him. The girls are returning with the beer. And they aren't alone, Dandelion added, standing up. Look at that horse, big as a dragon. The Zericanians galloped up from the birchwood, flanking a rider sitting on a large restless horse. The Witcher also stood up. The rider was wearing a long purple, velvet kaftan with a silver braid and short coat trimmed with sable fur. Sitting erect in the saddle, he looked imperiously down at them. Gerald knew that kind of look, and was not fond of it. What voice do we do for this guy? I don't have enough voices for this. Greetings, gentlemen. I am Doric Rary. The writer introduced himself, dismounting slowly and with dignity. Master Doric Rary, sorcerer. Master Gerald, Witcher. Master Dandelion, poet. Lords also known as the Three Jackdaws, and my girls who are removing the bung from that keg. You've already met Master Dorgare. That is so indeed, the sorcerer said without a smile. We exchanged bows, and I, the beautiful warriors from Zacariana. Well done. Cheers. Dandelion distributed the leather cups brought by Via. Drink with us, Master Sorcerer. My Lord Butch, shall I also serve the Decurion? Of course, join us, soldier. I presume, the sorcerer said after taking a small, distinguished sip, that the same purpose has brought you gentlemen to the barrier on the bridge as it has me. If you have the dragon in mind, Master Doricay, Dandelion said. That is so indeed. I want to be there and compose a ballad. Unfortunately, that Decurion, though, clearly a fellow without refinement, doesn't want to let me through. He demands a safe conduct. I beg your pardon, the halberdier said, draining his cup and smacking his lips. I've been ordered on pain of death not to let anyone through without a safe conduct. And I'm told the whole of Byfield has already gathered up with wagons and plans to head up after the dragon. I have my orders. Your orders, soldier, Dargaray frowned, apply to the rabble who might hinder. Trollops who might spread debauchery and foul sicknesses, thieves, scum, and rabble, but not to me. I won't let anyone through without a safe conduct, the Decurion glowered. I swear. Don't swear, Three Jackdaws interrupted him. Better to have another drink. Tia poured this stout-hearted soldier a beer, and let us be seated, gentlemen, drinking standing up, in a rush, when without due reverence does not become the nobility. They sat down on logs around the keg. The halberdier, newly raised to nobility, blushed with pleasure. Drink, brave centurion, Three Jackdaws urged. But I'm a Decurion, not a centurion, the halberdier said, blushing even more intensely. But you will be a centurion for certain,
Botch grinned. You're an astute fellow. You'll be promoted in no time. Dark Array, declining Array fell, turned towards Gerald. People are still talking about the basilisk in town, which is there, and you now have your eye on the dragon, I see, he said softly. I wonder whether you're so short of money, or whether you murder endangered creatures for the simple pleasure of it. Curious interest, Gerald answered, coming from someone who is rushing not to be late for the butchering of a dragon in order to knock out its teeth, so crucial after all, in the making of magical cures and elixirs. Is it true, Sorcerer Sir, that the best ones are removed from a living dragon? Are you certain that is why I'm going there? I am, but someone has already beaten you too, Dargaray. A female companion of yours has already gone through with the safe conduct, which you don't have. She has black hair, if that is any interest to you. On a black horse, apparently. Yennefer, Dargaray said glumly, unnoticed by anybody. The Witcher twitched. A silence fell, broken only by the belching of the future centurion. Nobody without the safe conduct. Will 200 lintels suffice? Gerald calmly took from his pocket the purse received from the fat alderman. Oh, Gerald, the three jackmen smiled mysteriously. So you. My apologies, Borch. I'm sorry, but I won't ride with you to Hengfors. Another time, perhaps. Perhaps we'll meet again. I have no interest in going to Hengfors, Three Jackdaws said slyly. Not at all, Gerald. Put away that purse, sir, the future centurion said menacingly. That's sheer bribery. I won't even let you through for 300. And for 500? Borch took out his purse. Put away that purse, child. I'll pay the toll. This has begun to amuse me. 500 soldiers, sir, 100 apiece. Counting my girls as one gorgeous item. What? Oh dear, the future centurion said, distressed, stowing Borch's pouch away under his jacket. What will I tell the king? Tell him, Dargavay said, straightening up and removing an ornate ivory wand from his belt, that you were overcome by fear when you saw it. Saw what, sir? The sorcerer flourished his wand and shouted an incantation. A pine tree on the river bank burst into flames. In one moment, the entire tree was engulfed, from top to bottom in a blaze of fire. To horse! Cried Dandelion, springing up and slinging his lute across his back. To horse, gentlemen and ladies! Raise the barrier, the Rishtokarian, with a good chance of becoming a centurion, shouted to the halberdiers. On the bridge, beyond the barrier, Via reined in her horse. It skittered, hooves thudding on the planking. The woman, tossing her plaits, screamed piercingly. That's right, Via, three jackdaws shouted back. Onwards, my lords, the horse will ride in the Zerikarian fashion, with a thundering and a yelling. And that is the end of the reading for today. Did we like it? What did we think about the reading? I loved it. I thought it was great. But yes, that is where we'll be ending the stream for today. Also, I've decided to sort of not really raid out. I think I'll raid out when I have like when I have at least like 15 people watching. Otherwise, I just feel a bit guilty for raiding out, you know what I mean? Because I am a small streamer, it feels a bit like I don't want people to think I'm doing it just for a shout out and stuff. So yeah. But thank you, lovelies. I'll be in the Discord VC in 10-15 minutes, but thank you so much, everyone, and bye bye. Have a lovely rest of your day, night, and everything.